Apple became bigger than technology, and that didn't happen on accident. Steve Jobs didn't just build Apple to convince you to buy a computer. He convinced you to buy something. And that distinction matters. Because when Steve Jobs returned to Apple in the late 1990s, the company was struggling. There were too many products, not a clear message, and no connection to community. Apple wasn't losing because their products were bad. They were losing because they didn't know who they were. And then Steve Jobs did something radical. He simplified. Not just the products, but the story behind Apple. And he spoke to identity. The Think Different campaign wasn't even about computers at all. It was about artists, visionaries, rebels. Apple wasn't saying, buy this. They were saying, this is who you are. And I totally bought into it. Suddenly, the product becomes secondary to the meaning behind it all in the first place. Steve Jobs understood something a lot of business owners overlook. People don't want more options. They want clarity. And that's why Apple launches feel different. And over time, Apple became bigger than technology. It became a symbol of taste, a standard, and a certain way of thinking. And that consistency created something deeper than loyalty. Created community. People didn't just buy Apple products to consume them. They identified with them. They felt part of a shared culture. They even defended the brand over the other brand. And that goes far beyond technology. Brands that last aren't trying to be everywhere. They know exactly where they belong. What actually builds longevity is a clear message, consistent presence, and a community who really understands you. And that's the lens that we look through at Deluxe Version Magazine. We're not just a platform where you can be featured, and our advertisers aren't just showing up. They are aligning to a story. Because when community is real, brands don't just get noticed, they get remembered. Like, who are we gonna do next? Tell me your thoughts. What brand really stands out to you that positioned themselves through advertising and marketing? I did Allen Iverson last week, and I'm excited to hear what you think about with Steve Jobs.